Imagine standing on a battlefield where the fate of England hangs in the balance. Two armies, one led by a determined Anglo-Saxon king, the other by a ruthless Norman duke, clash in a brutal fight for the throne. The year is 1066, and the Battle of Hastings will forever change the course of history. But what made the battle at Senlac Hill such a pivotal moment in warfare? And how did a single tactical mistake lead to the fall of Anglo-Saxon England? After the death of King Edward the Confessor, England was in chaos. Harold Godwinson was crowned king, but his claim was contested by William, Duke of Normandy, who insisted that Edward had promised him the throne. William, prepared and ambitious, gathered a formidable force and crossed the English Channel, landing at Pevensey. Harold, having just defeated a Viking invasion in the north, marched his exhausted troops south to face William. They would meet on October 14, 1066, on the slopes of Senlac Hill, a high ground that would prove both an advantage and a fatal trap for the Anglo-Saxons. Harold's army, composed largely of housecarls, elite warriors, and fyrds, local militia, formed a strong shield wall, a nearly impenetrable defense against William's Norman cavalry. At first, the shield wall held firm. Norman cavalry charges were repeatedly repelled, and William's forces began to falter. Some even believed William had been killed, causing panic among the Normans. But then came a game-changing tactic, one that would ultimately decide the battle. William, seeing that frontal assaults were failing, ordered a feigned retreat. The Normans pretended to flee, luring Harold's troops down from their defensive high ground. The moment the Anglo-Saxons broke formation, the Normans turned and counterattacked. This was the beginning of the end. With the shield wall broken, Norman cavalry and archers took full advantage. The most famous moment of the battle came when Harold was struck in the eye by an arrow, a scene immortalized in the Bayeux Tapestry. With their king dead and their ranks collapsing, the Anglo-Saxon army was overrun. By nightfall, William stood victorious. On Christmas Day 1066, he was crowned King of England, marking the beginning of Norman rule and a new chapter in English history. The Battle of Hastings didn't just decide a king, it transformed England forever. Norman influence reshaped the language, law, and architecture of the nation. Feudalism was introduced, redistributing land to Norman lords. The English language absorbed thousands of Norman French words. Castles and cathedrals were built across England to secure Norman control. This was the dawn of a new era of warfare and governance in medieval Europe. The clash at Senlac Hill was more than just a battle. It was the turning point that shaped the England we know today. But this wasn't the only legendary battlefield where tactics changed history. Another pivotal moment came centuries later, when the English longbow revolutionized medieval warfare at the Battle of Agincourt.